Good day, everyone. I'm Nestor LeConte with the Pacific Daily News. Here are the top stories from the PDN newsroom.
A half percentage point interest rate cut by the Federal Reserve in September 18, the first in 4 years, is bringing down mortgage interest rates in the U.S. and should spark a modest increase in local home buying, according to Guam real estate industry officials. The impact, however, will be softened by a shortage of available homes to buy, Cornerstone Valuation President Cisco Hutapea said. The problem with us, though, is we have limited supply, so that's going to kind of dampen the impact of the lower interest rate, she said. Edward Untalan, Executive Vice President and Regional Manager for First Hawaiian Bank, said the Fed rate drop has already had a positive impact on residential rates. FHB has already dropped our rates, so that does help, he said. Untalan agreed that the lack of inventory is a challenge, but so are the price of homes. While the drop in rate helps with the monthly payment, they still have to put the 20% down on a purchase, and with home prices here on Guam out of reach for what is considered affordable, it will still be difficult for a lot of people, he said. The Federal Reserve's action ends 14 months of rate pauses that, along with inflation, unemployment, and other factors, have prolonged elevated borrowing costs, according to Wall Street observers quoted by national media. In other news, Colonel Ernest Govea, the commanding officer for U.S. Marine Corps Base Camp Blah, said additional U.S. Marines will start to arrive in October, and the first of 8 structures to house them is almost done. Govea was part of a reinterment ceremony for ancestral Chamorro remains on Saturday morning at the construction site for the USMC Skaggs Urban Combat Training Complex. Located in Dededo in an area formerly known as Andy South, the site offers the acreage needed for various types of U.S. military training. It is part of the $8.3 billion construction to relocate U.S. Marines operations from Japan to Guam. The thousands of Marines expected to move to Guam will have communal quarters in structures called barracks. Govea said the first of 8 structures will be ready for occupation by February. The cash crunch at Guam Memorial Hospital is causing a supply shortage that threatens to cancel all non-emergency surgeries, according to this month's GMH board meeting. One doctor has turned to using his own money to obtain supplies needed to continue providing anesthesia for surgeries. Hospital Administrator Lillian Perez-Posadas asked all members of the GMH board to appeal to senators to increase the hospital's subsidy for fiscal 2025 in light of the dire financial situation that the hospital faces. Perez-Posadas said GMH recently came close to suspending all elective surgeries because the hospital owes money to medical suppliers that provide pharmaceutical and surgical supplies. She said the governor had to approve a cash advance of $5 million so the hospital could pay off vendors and get more supplies, but that advance came out of money that's supposed to fund GMH in the next fiscal year. In other news, procurement of 5 new ambulances is waiting to go out to bid, even as the Guam Fire Department works to respond to emergency calls with just 4 of its 15 ambulances currently operational. Meanwhile, GFD Oversight Chairman Senator Will Parkinson told the Pacific Daily News that the fire department has $885,000 in federal American Rescue Plan money to purchase ambulances, but the documents are still under review at the General Services Agency after being submitted since July. The PDN reported earlier that GFD has just 4 ambulances running, down from the 5 reported in July and 7 reported back in February. Parkinson said administrative bottlenecks are holding up the purchase, and he is considering legislation to give GFD Emergency Procurement Authority to deal with the issue. But Parkinson said recent discussions with the GFD indicate it could take a year for the ambulances to arrive, even after a bid is processed. For more on these stories, go to GuamPDN.com and follow us on social media.